Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be interviewing Davina Federgreen. Davina, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Seth. I really appreciate it.
Now, you've got your fingers in a whole lot of different pies. I'm having trouble keeping up with all of the amazing things that you're doing. Can you give us a brief overview of kind of what you're up to now?
All right, Seth. Well, about 3 years ago, I decided to rebrand my whole business, and now I am a business consultant, strategist, analyst, and project manager. So what I did was I decided to bring all of my expertise over the years into one platform. And I have a whole collective of people that can manage everybody's business, whether it's legals, whether it's accounting, whether it's marketing, whether you're looking to raise capital, or whatever your needs are, we can assist.
That is fascinating. I love that you're kind of a one-stop shop. How did that come about? Talk to me a little bit. Let's go back in time. How did you get started? Because you've had an interesting career path.
Yes, I have. Well, I started off with a family business many moons ago. And I realized at a very young age that I had a lot of different talents and I wanted to put it all into one place eventually. So when I was in the fashion business, then I got into the recycling business in the 90s when recycling wasn't huge. Then I got into, oh my goodness, there was fashion, there was relationship expert. I got into marketing and advertising. And then I got pulled into raising capital, but also a lot of friends in the industry had approached me and asked me to get into the film industry because I was an event producer as well. So I decided to pull all of that expertise into my business because a lot of people didn't understand exactly what I was doing because I was doing so much. So I decided, okay, I'm going to make it simple. I'm going to make it on one platform and I'm going to bring in all my experts and we're going to manage the business properly so that we can definitely do whatever anybody is interested in doing, whether it's they need capital, they need a business plan written. A lot of businesses I found where there was a lot of pieces missing in their business and they weren't realizing it. So whenever I'd go into a business, whether it was in advertising or marketing, I realized that there was a lot of problems happening and they weren't really aware of it. So I wanted to create a situation where we could go in, we could manage it all, we could interview the staff, we could check their marketing strategies, we could check their pro forma, we could check their business plans, their forecasts, everything, and come up with a 3-phase strategy to help streamline their business and help, as my tagline is, we make money, we move money, or we save money. So we basically take that business model and we incorporate it in literally any model, whether it's a startup business or it could be a Fortune 500 company where they're having problems spending too much money with staff. Maybe they're spending too much money in their marketing strategies, or they're not putting energies into certain parts of the strategies. and they're, wasting money in too much SEO or whatever it may be.
Okay, so you packed a lot into that answer. I love it. We could spend the whole episode unpacking it. So let's start from the end in mind, right? Let's talk about who is, because you ran the gamut, whether it's a small business or a Fortune 500 company, their needs are going to be very, very different. So who is a average ideal client for you?
Wow, that's a hard one because really everybody is. You'd be surprised when you start a business, Seth. It's like our baby. We protect our baby. We don't understand that there's areas in that business model that maybe is lacking. And so I believe that every business should have at least a roadmap to start with. So if you're a startup company, we do business roadmaps. If you're a Fortune 500 company, we come in and we recreate a business roadmap because things are not working in that business model. So we need to step back and start again. Not the whole business, but we need to actually step back and really assess what's going on in your business. So that's sort of what I think is very important. I can really handle any business model, a film industry. I'm big into the film world, very passionate about it. I want to make a difference in the world. There's technology plays. I deal with renewable energy companies. I deal with sustainable products, anything that gives me passion, and I think that's really important. You have to have a passion for everything you do. So really it's a gamut. It's A to Z.
Absolutely. All right, let's narrow it down just a little bit. What are some of the most common issues that your clients are facing that you're helping them with?
One big one is SEO. If you're a real estate agent, you're a lawyer, you're in the tech world, it's really hard to get #1 on Google. So there's a lot of companies out there saying, oh, I'll get you #1 on Google. It's kind of like a bad car salesman. I'm going to get you some SEO. You're going to be #1 on Google. Well, that's almost impossible, especially nowadays. So I find that, it's important to have SEO. It's important to have a good, solid marketing strategies, but I find a lot of companies don't have that passion. So they just sell you a whole bag of worms and you end up, spending a huge amount of money. And most of my clients used to say, well, I never got any results. So I think the problem is that most companies out there don't get to know your business model. They don't care. They walk in, oh, I'll sell them a bunch of marketing. I'll sell them a bunch of this or that. When it comes to raising capital, a lot of people don't see the importance of really making sure that that budget and that forecast is correct. So I help them restructure everything pretty much.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, SEO is certainly a concern for a lot of people. Let's do a little bit of a deep dive on, you talked about some of the different issues that they're facing. Can you give us, I know you've got shoeboxes filled of case studies. Can you give us an example of, if you're allowed to share identities, if not, it's ABC Incorporated, of a company that came to you, what their issue was, and then kind of the magical transformation you engineered for them?
Okay. I had a huge Jamaican resort. They were building a lot of moving pieces to this resort. When the gentleman came to me, sorry, I can't divulge.
Okay.
When the gentleman came to me, he had this huge grandiose idea. And the problem was that it wasn't put into a business model, business plan. So he came to me and said, we need to create a business plan, a promo video, a sizzle reel, or whatever you want to call it. Mostly it's a promo video when it comes to a business, and a pitch deck. So if you're going to go raise capital, you really need to have a strong business plan. So I said, let's look at your business model. Let's build it out. And so I ended up having to completely recreate that business model. And I started creating streams of revenue and realized that there was so much potential to that business. So, he didn't just have resorts. He didn't just have a farm. He didn't just have certain areas of the business. He didn't realize a lot of the areas that were missing. So I helped him with that.
And then what was the impact kind of on the business?
Well, within 2 hours, when I sent off the pitch deck and the promo video, literally the investor, my partners had phoned me and said, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Talk to me about this. I want to be there right now." And that was the importance, because I've seen a lot of business plans and a lot of pitch decks that are just very boring and they don't tell the story. So I tell the story. In the creative side of me, and also the logical side of me is putting together the proper business plan, the proper performance, but also the look and feel of it. You want that investor to go, "Wow, I got to invest in this." And that was the big issue that I found, especially in that part of the world of, business and business plans, etc.
That makes a lot of sense. With all the success you've achieved, what's your biggest challenge now?
Well, I would say challenges are growing and growing exponentially. I think that's a bit of a challenge right now with COVID, but I'm not having as much of a challenge because Zoom meetings are fantastic. So I'm really reaching out internationally. I think I just need to probably market more now. I've kind of gotten to a level where I need to now step up and go to another level. And being in the film world as well, I find that, there's always potential to grow. And I think that's really what it is ongoing growth.
You have mentored so many amazing people. Talk a little bit about the mentors in your life and kind of how they helped you.
I learned to not talk as much. I'm a talker. I love to tell stories. My father, God rest his soul, was a talker. He loved to tell stories. Building relationships, I think, was the biggest part of what I learned. If you build long-term relationships with your clients, partners, you're going to build a great business. My mentors had always said that if you work hard and you're passionate about what you do, the money will come. And I believe that.
Your passion's obvious as well. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I love interacting with clients. I love to see their growth. I like to see the end result. I'm very excited about seeing their business. It's like a flower, it starts to grow and you see the end result with this beautiful flower. And I love to see the end result and them making money and the business has started and they've raised the capital or the film is being made. And it's very exciting to see the end result.
That is fascinating. For our folks who are watching and listening and want to learn more about you and your process, where is the best place for us to send them?
Well, you can go on my website. It's at federgreenconsulting.com. And if you want to see me on IMDb, I'm on IMDb as well.
What are some of the lessons, real quick? I know your time's valuable. What are some of the lessons you learned from the movie business that apply to the business world?
It's funny you say that. I was just speaking to one of my clients yesterday in regards to that. I think what happened in the film world is that there wasn't enough business to the film world. There was all this creation and all this passion. But when you're structuring a business model and you're structuring a budget, I think that was the biggest missing link. And so what I share with my clients is we're going to build more revenue streams. We're going to make sure that money that investor is giving you is now going to come back to you, hopefully tenfold, we always wish, but especially to get their interest and their money back. I think they need to really review it. They really need to see that it's more of a business than it is just the creative side. And that's what's been lacking, I think, in the film world for sure.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, we greatly appreciate your time. This has been Seth Greene with Davina Federgreen for Federgreen Consulting. Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time. Thank you, Davina, so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level, but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.